You've seen The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. You know Kiara and Kovu, the star-crossed lovers meant to unite two prides. You remember the songs, the drama, and that feel-good ending. But what if the movie you remember is a carefully constructed lie, hiding a much darker, more disturbing story just beneath the surface? Disney left a trail of grim plot holes and unsettling details, and today we're digging them up. This isn't just about fan theories. This is about an impossible timeline, the brutal truth behind an exile, and the psychological scars that change the entire story. Get ready, because we're about to uncover 10 pieces of dark lore that will shatter your nostalgic image of Simba's Pride. This is the version you were never meant to see. Number 10, The Outsider's Impossible Survival. First up, a question the movie just breezes past. How did the outsiders even survive? Simba banishes Zira and her followers to the outlands, a wasteland of termite mounds and dust. We see it clearly. There's no water, no prey, nothing to sustain a pride of lions who are somehow strong enough to wage a war. Yet they not only survive, they seem to be in peak condition. The film offers zero explanation. This has led fans to speculate on some grim possibilities. One idea is that they scavenged for scraps on the borders of the Pride Lands, but a far darker, if unfounded, fan theory suggests something unthinkable in the circle of life, that Zira's pride preyed on the weakest among them to survive. It's a horrifying idea the film ignores, painting a chilling picture of Zira's leadership and the pride's desperation. Number 9. Kovu's deceptive roar. This next detail is subtle, but it reveals everything about Kovu's training. When we first see cub Kovu, he lets out a fierce roar that's shockingly powerful for his size, proof of Zira's brutal instruction. But later, as a young adult, he suddenly can't seem to manage a decent roar when he's trying to have fun with Kiara. She even has to teach him how. So, how does a cub with a mighty roar forget how to do it? He didn't. This isn't a sign of weakness, it's a mark of Zira's masterful manipulation. His fierce cub roar was an act, a performance of aggression he was taught to display. His weak adult roar was also an act, designed to make him appear harmless and win Kiara's trust. It shows his training wasn't just about fighting, it was about deep cover deception, a psychological game that makes his infiltration of the Pride Lands even more sinister. Number 8. The unexplained frailty of Nuka. Nuka's death is tragic, but it's also baffling. He's killed when a few logs fall on him during the ambush on Simba. While dramatic, it feels underwhelming. Lions are incredibly powerful animals. A few logs that don't even appear to crush him shouldn't be a fatal blow. He's always shown as scrawny and desperate, but not sickly. His quick death points to a grim, unspoken reality. The film constantly shows Nuka as malnourished and neglected. Zira's obsession with Kovu meant Nuka was an afterthought, likely getting the last scraps of food and zero proper care. His frail body isn't just a character choice, it's the physical result of years of neglect. His death isn't just an accident, it's the inevitable outcome for a life lived in the shadow of the chosen son, a dark testament to Zira's cruelty. Number 7. Simba's unreasonable paranoia. Simba's trauma from Scar is a huge part of his character, but in this movie, his judgment gets so twisted, it borders on tyranny. After the ambush, Kovu pleads his innocence, and he's telling the truth. He had nothing to do with it. Yet Simba, blinded by his past, refuses to hear a word of it. He exiles Kovu on the spot, based on nothing but suspicion. This isn't the wise king Mufasa raised. This is an echo of Scar's own paranoid rule. Simba's inability to see past his own trauma makes him unjust. He ignores Kovu's genuine change of heart and his own daughter's pleas, shattering his heroic image. It's a dark turn for our hero, showing how the scars of the past have twisted him into a ruler who acts first and asks questions later, a trait dangerously close to the tyrant he fought to overthrow. Number 6. Zira's cult-like devotion. Zira's entire life is about avenging Scar and making Kovu king. Kovu is her chosen one, the key to her revenge. So when Simba exiles him, why does Zira do nothing? She just stands there and watches her life's purpose walk away. She doesn't try to get him back, she just pivots straight to all-out war. This moment reveals a chilling truth. Zira's loyalty isn't to Kovu as a son, it's to the idea of Scar's legacy. The second Kovu is no longer a useful tool for her mission, she discards him without a second thought. This isn't a mother's love, it's the cold, calculating logic of a cult leader. Her followers and even her own children are just pawns in her obsessive game, exposing the terrifying depth of her fanaticism. If you love digging into the secrets behind the stories you thought you knew, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell. We're always uncovering the hidden lore of your favorite films right here. Number 5. Kiara's naive revolution. The film's climax rests on Kiara's simple plea, "We are one." Her speech is somehow enough to convince Vitani and the outsiders to instantly abandon a lifelong blood feud. It's a beautiful idea, but it feels incredibly naive. These lionesses were raised on nothing but hatred and revenge. They suffered through exile, all driven by Zira's single-minded vengeance. But really? Is one speech from the enemy's daughter enough to undo a lifetime of indoctrination? The movie treats it like a magic fix, but this piece feels dangerously fragile. It papers over the deep resentment that defined the outsiders, raising a chilling question. Did Kiara actually solve the conflict, or just put a bandage on a wound that's doomed to reopen? Number 4. The unspoken fate of the hyenas. The hyenas were Scar's loyal army in the first movie, essential to his takeover. In Simba's Pride, however, they've vanished. Nuka briefly mentions the elephant graveyard is even creepier since the hyenas ran off. But where did they run off to? The movie never says. Their complete disappearance has fueled one of the darkest fan theories of all, that when Simba returned, he ordered a brutal, off-screen ethnic cleansing. To truly secure the Pride lands, he might have driven the hyenas out of the kingdom entirely, or worse. The movie just leaves a giant hole in the story, which many fans have filled with the disturbing idea of a silent genocide, a truly dark act for a hero king. Number 3. Rafiki's convenient meddling. Mufasa's spirit plays a big part in the story, appearing to Rafiki to give him the idea to unite Kiara and Kovu. Rafiki sees their reflections merge and hears Mufasa whisper their names. It's treated as divine intervention from the great kings of the past, but the timing is almost too perfect. Why didn't Mufasa intervene sooner? Why not just appear to Simba and tell him to make peace? Why leave everything to a chance encounter between two cubs, a plan that could have easily gone wrong? It makes the wisdom of the great kings feel less like profound spiritual guidance, and more like a cheap plot device. It suggests Mufasa's ghost is reactive, not proactive, which undermines the deep spiritual lore the first film built so carefully. Number 2. Zira's impossible timeline. This is where the plot really starts to break down. Zira tells Simba that Kovu was the last born before you exiled us. This means Kovu was born before Simba returned and banished them. But the entire movie is based on the idea that Scar, who died before the exile, personally hand-chosen Kovu to follow in his paw prints. This is a massive timeline contradiction that's impossible to resolve. How could a long-dead Scar anoint a newborn cub that was born just as his reign was ending? It means either Zira is lying to make her claims seem legitimate, or the writers just created a giant plot hole and hoped we wouldn't notice. Either way, it completely destabilizes the foundation of Kovu's purpose and Zira's entire mission. Number 1. Kovu's impossible lineage. And now for the biggest, most debated piece of dark lore in Simba's Pride, Kovu's very existence. Zira claims Scar chose Kovu as his heir, but Nuka screams the truth in a jealous rage. Scar wasn't even his father. He just took him in. The movie makes it clear Kovu has no biological link to Scar, a change made to avoid the awkwardness of him being Kiara's cousin. Why would Scar, a deeply narcissistic lion, obsessed with his own bloodline, choose a random male cub as his heir? The choice makes no sense, and it's led to a grim theory. Scar wasn't looking for an heir, he was looking for a weapon. Kovu's strength and appearance suggest he was chosen, or maybe even stolen, for his superior genetics. Zira's claim that Scar chose him could be a lie to justify raising an adopted son as a living weapon, forever tainting Kovu's story with a dark origin of eugenics and indoctrination. From impossible timelines and convenient prophecies to unspoken violence and deep psychological trauma, the story of Simba's Pride is filled with dark secrets. Once you look past the romance and catchy songs, you find a story about broken characters, questionable leaders, and a piece that feels terrifyingly fragile. The neat and tidy ending Disney gave us feels less like a victory and more like a desperate attempt to bury the uncomfortable truths of a generation torn apart by hate. The real story is darker, messier, and far more complex. What do you think? Which piece of dark lore from Simba's Pride stands out to you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and let's talk about what other secrets are still hiding in the shadows.